session is Beyond the Internet, and I will call it will be managed by Dr. Orna. She is the Corporate Vice President for Growth and Innovation of EMC, and some other titles. Used to be the Chief Scientist of Israel. Orna, please.
Great to talk to you without seeing you. I hope that nothing bad happens in the audience because I see nothing. So I want to open this session, a very important session, because it stretches a little bit the imagination when we talk beyond the internet, and to give the perspective of a data-driven ecosystem. So I think we are all accustomed today to the number of sensors and to the mode of operation. Many of us are driving electric cars and are not using a real key. Are using basically a remote control to open the cars, and we know that in the case of Tesla, the corporate has taken the cars, I think 1 inch or 2 inches up in one day by operating from the command and control room, because of the fact that the cars appear as cars, but the nature is far more digitized than we know mechanically. So if I take, technology penetrating and communicating, such as anything sensing temperatures, as well as the growth of the expansion of the data, the number of users of the data, the numbers of devices that are far exceeding the number of users even today, but certainly when we look at 2020, and then the size of the data, that we want to have access to all of it. We want to use its content for awareness, we want to have performance, we want to trust it. All of it is coming to such a size that we need to decompose a lot of the problems into smaller problems, and we need to continuously add capabilities as long as the evolution is so rapid. So I don't need to discuss how many new devices have their own wisdom and are communicating, because I think everybody knows that the business is becoming all digital. And the billions of users, millions of applications, basically form the third platform and the Internet of Things, and we hear a lot mobile, cloud, big data, social, as technology attributes of this third platform. So it is the Internet of Things. And when we talk about beyond the Internet, and we talk about Internet of Things is really a completely different way of life. We're talking about maintenance in flight. We're talking about topics that we did not address before. So we talk about personal information. We talk about real-time interaction. We talk about transparency and trust. Secure cities, smart cities. Business attributes of the third platform are quite new. We're getting accustomed to them, but they are very different in what we need to protect. So if we chase growth, it means that we want to connect everything that is smart into our networks of things. And if we look at the fact that the size, particularly the size of the data, but also the extent of the aggregate communication, is so large that we need to reduce the cost per unit significantly, and we need to reduce the cost in general, and we need to introduce automation. In addition to that, This means that we need to manage the risk of the complex systems such that they are reliable and useful. So the amount of data per person in the IT business has extended significantly. So in general, we talk about the rate of adoption of technology and the components in which we recognize the adoption of technology, and we are trying to all the time design for those systems to be consistent. I have a disagreement with the computer, so you will excuse me until I manage to get to the next slide. Okay, so I will conclude by saying that if prior we had to protect our environment, today we're talking from within the data, from within the communication, from within the users, and we need to prevent, to monitor, but also to be able to respond and to basically recover any situations that are mitigating our ability to continuously operate. So I will say that security, even more than any other discipline, because other disciplines are planned to operate. Security on the defense side is planned to protect. And when you plan to protect and the technology is continuously changing, you actually need to be tremendously more agile in your response to introduction of new technologies, such that you can be really safe. So, as we say on this transformation, evolution is not mandatory, because always extinction is an option. And truly, if we cannot use the digital world as an operational infrastructure, then we are doomed. So I will conclude with that, and I will say that we have a tremendous panel in terms of the speakers that we have. And I'm going to introduce the first speaker. The first speaker is Patrick Duer. We call him Pat. He was appointed an executive vice president of Lockheed Martin International Business in July 2013. Mr. Duer began his career as a missile guidance engineer, working in various varying roles across the corporation. Pat has nearly 3 decades of international business experience, which gives him the perfect insight to lead corporations, global operation, and business strategy. Key to this is the growth of Lockheed Martin presence in Israel and the development of new businesses in addition to the traditional defense sector that Lockheed has been present in Israel for a long time. Among them, opening their office in Be'er Sheva, supporting the Israeli Defense Forces Move to the South campaign, and he is here to talk through the question that we face globally around big data and the challenges and opportunities that it presents. I'm delighted to introduce Executive Vice President of Lockheed Martin International, Mr. Pat Duer.